Hello guys, welcome to the fourth tutorial video on web design. In our previous tutorial we talked about some important tags. So now because I told you in the beginning of this tutorial that I'm going to be mixing both HTML, XHTML to the latest version of HTML, which is HTML5. Now in respect to HTML5 we have some important section also. So in order HTML5 makes web page very dynamic in a way, and it has some properties that some advanced properties that CSS can also do, and some other DOM effects and all that. So according to HTML5, inside the body section we have a section called header, and this header is different from the heading tag that I explained in the last tutorial. This is named header, and it has a closing header tag which is also header. And now in this section, because the browser recognizes this header as as a header itself, as it's stated, header as a header, it's recognized this particular tag as the header of a page or as the header of a section, depending on what you tend to do with your header. So now so let me just give this header the title of my website. So inside this tag consists of all header, my nav menu, my navigation bar, and all that, something to navigate with, something like this. Where's this? Something like this. I just want to show an example of what I'm explaining. A nav menu, a nav bar, something like this, my HTML index. So something like this, talking about something dynamic like this, a navigation bar. This is my header section, this is the name of my website, this is the navigation list, this is where I can navigate to have more information about some other context. So now let's just, yeah, we are dealing with our heading. Let's just give it a name, and we also want our heading to be a link to our home page, although we're going to be talking more of that. So in this tutorial, let's just talk about its function, its basics. So what's the name of our website? Let's say, since we name the title Yahoo, let's say yahoo.com, and that's okay. Yeah, yahoo.com. And now we have a special tag depending on where you tend to put in it, but it's proper to put this in the header section because it deals with the header. It's a navigation bar which is named nav, and it also has a closing nav tag. So in between this nav is what I just pictured, I just showed you guys on the other web page. So now outside this content we have something called section. Section describe or define another part of a compound part of content in the same web page. We're just trying to classify some other content as a class. We're classifying different classes as maybe let me just use this as an example. We have class A, we have class B, and we want to try to differentiate them. We differentiate them by giving each tag a section name. So I name it section. I have my closing tag section. So in between this section we can also have a header, that is something like a title for our section. We also have something called a very important tag called article. Article, like it is being pronounced article. We all know what article is. Writing a short a description or something short, a short content that describe what our section is all about. We can write article, we can write different things. Just we can read more about html5, and it's pretty cool. So now there's now a very very important tag I want to be talking about. That is the footer tag. This is basically, a footer tag is where all information, the copyrights, to round up, complain, contact us, something of that is being imputed, and it is named footer. Don't, like I used to say, do not try to cram all these, just try to know them, just try to follow them as a rule and regulation to follow in order to accomplish your goal. And I think I should just show you example of a footer. Okay, we have something like this, although I'm still working on this. It's just a tutorial kind of example, and so this is what we call footer section, where our copyright, like something like this, copyright and all that is being written. So now that we know what our footer does, so let's just name it footer, and our closing bra footer, and yeah, in between here we can write text like h1, we can write like paragraph, and we have something we call a link, a type of written statement that is in a tag called ea, which is an anchor. It is a powerful type of tag which they call the heart of an HTML page. It is written as a, let me just, okay, let me, in my section, let me just give a tag called a. It's an anchor, it's a kind of link, and it also has an attribute. I do not want to force this tutorial, I don't want to rush too much, because I want to take my time to explain each and every content I am going to be using. This now defines the element. We are dealing with an element called an anchor. An anchor is basically a type of linking type of tag that link a text to another, that links a web page to another. So this anchor cannot just do the job alone. It has to have an attribute. What this attribute does is that it defines this tag. Most of these HTML elements has an attribute that defines a super kind of effect that a tag can also make. Now in this place, in this section, we're going to be talking about href, because we're going to be referencing an hyper text or an hyper reference to another web page. Now let's try to remember, we named this web page index.html. So now we're going to be linking the text we're going to be writing here to this index.html. So index.html, and now we have our closing tag and our closing tag /a. Now this is the text that is going to be the link. Notice the color of the text, and notice some other decoration and other descriptional effects on this text. This is a link. Now let's save it and let's see the results. Let me run on my Firefox, and we discover this underlined type of text, and we discover when our mouse overheat, we discover our mouse changes, it changes the normal pointer, the normal mouse shape into a type of pointing, a hand pointing mouse. So whenever I click this page, it refresh and it brings me back to this home page. In our next tutorial, we're going to be doing more of completing the section tag, completing the nav, the header tag, completing what is it called, the footer tag, and I'm going to be doing more of web designing in full. And just keep following my tutorials. Drop your comments in the comment box below. um, Tell me if you like, just thumb up if you like this video. I need your thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe also. Spread this channel to your friends, to your colleagues. Let them also have this advantage you are having over them. Let them to be educated in how to develop a website. Thank you. I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.